Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupā Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Goraksharas Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pratha Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Brinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Jāhnavā-mātā ki jai. Shri Ramachandra Shakti Shri Jāhnavā-devi ki jai. Shri Tadiya Shubha Avirvav Titi ki jai. Shri Madhu Pandit ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Thiruvav Titi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Seshwari Mataji and Madhavi Didi. Dandavat pranams to you both. One second, I just have to sneeze. Okay. All right, so today, before I thought I was planning, like yesterday I mentioned I was going to read this. I was going to go through all the chapter titles by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur for all the cantos. But I decided I want to just read up on them a little bit so that otherwise it might, just, I don't know. I feel I'd rather do it nicer. No. So, and instead I'm going to read about Jāhnavā-mātā and Sītā-devī, whose appearance day it is today. And it's also the disappearance day of Madhu Pandit. And so I think I'll read something from this book, Sri Chaitanya and His Associates, by Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. Today, so this is a class, this is from two classes given by Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj, one on May 8th, 2014, and the other on May 5th, 2017. Today is the appearance day of Jāhnavā-mātā, Lord Nityananda's consort, Nityananda Shakti. It is also the appearance day of Sītā-devī, the consort of Lord Ramachandra. Oh, and we can sing, let's sing a song for Jāhnavā-mātā today. Should we start with a song by Jāhnavā-mātā, or maybe after? Bhavar. I'm just getting it ready. There. We can sing this. Prayer to Shri Jāhnavā-devi. Okay. Let's do it after, huh? Okay. Where is it? Oh, and I'm just seeing if anybody else showed up. Oh, Hari Bol, Rup Manjari Didi, and Pradrumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Gargaraj ji. Okay, so reason for Sīta-devi's advent. Why did Sīta-devi appear in this world? It was to eradicate the mighty and indomitable, how do you say that? Indomitable? Yeah, the mighty and indomitable aesthetics who could not be defeated by anyone else except Bhagavan. Sīta-devi performed her appearance pastimes for the welfare of the whole world. In her previous birth, she was the daughter of a boundlessly effulgent and topmost Brahmin sage, Kushadwaj, the son of Brihaspati. Kushadwaj named her Vedavati, meaning the embodiment of the Vedas, as Kushadwaj was always engrossed in studying and reciting the Vedas. She was a Vāgamai Kanya, that is to say, she was born by the mere utterance of words. Later, seeing the young Vedavati's unprecedented beauty, Ravan desired to marry Vedavati. However, she flatly refused the proposal, saying, "I will only accept Vishnu as my husband, and not any conditioned soul." Infuriated upon being rejected, Ravan grabbed her by the hair. Greatly angered in turn, she immediately cut off her hair, but restrained herself from cursing him, as she would have lost the merit she had accrued by the dint of her penances. Instead, she announced, "If indeed I have performed austerities, pious deeds, charities, fire sacrifices, and the likes in this birth, I will appear as a chaste woman in my next birth." And then it says in square brackets, "and become the cause of your destruction." Saying this, she immolated herself as she felt her chastity was sullied by Ravan. Wow, that's heavy. Here's a picture. Sorry, one second. In her next birth, she was discovered in a furrow in the earth by King Janak, who adopted her. That is why she was bestowed the name Sita, which means furrow in Sanskrit. King Janak was her foster father. Thus, she came to be known as Janaka Nandini Sita. In another kalpa, she was discovered on a lotus flower. Beyond the jurisdiction of materialists. In reality, can Ravan ever abduct Sīta-devi? When Ravan tried to abduct her, the original Sīta-devi took shelter of Agni, the fire god, while Ravan could only lay hands on the illusory, material form of Sita, Chaya Sita. The scriptures affirm, "Atha Shri Krishna namadi na bhavir grahyam indriyai seva mukhe hijivado swayam eva spuratada." It's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2-234. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses. But he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Sīta-devi is Bhagavan's internal potency, which can never be comprehended through materially contaminated senses. How then can someone like Ravan attain the eligibility to touch her or abduct her? Sīta-devi is the energy of Bhagavan Sri Ram. Energy and the possessor of energy are the same, non-different. Shakti Shakti Matayor Abhed. There is no difference between the potency and the possessor of potency. Eventually, when Sri Ram rescued Sīta-devi, he got her to perform the Agni Pariksha, a test wherein she had to enter fire to prove her purity. At that time, fire god returns the real Sita, who he had protected and retained before. And the illusory Sita, the material form of Sita, remained in the custody of Agni Dev. Here's a picture. Story of Ram Das Vipra. In South India, there lived a devotee of Sri Ram named Ram Das Vipra. Hearing that Ravan had abducted Sīta-devi, the mother of the universe, he had stopped taking food. He invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, but did not cook anything as he was absorbed in the thoughts that when Lakshman brings leafy greens, roots and fruits from the forest, then I'll cook under the inspiration of Sīta-devi. That's from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 9:183. He was absorbed in such a mood. He was known as Ram Japi. He would chant the holy name of Lord Ram. Mahaprabhu assured him that Ravan could not ever lay hands on the real Sita. Later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought evidence from the Kurma Puran, which confirms that Ravan had only taken Chaya Sita and not the real Sita, Ram Das Vipra was ecstatic. Soon on this day of her appearance, we pray. I don't know why I read that soon. So, on this day of her appearance, we pray for her mercy that we attain devotion to the Supreme Lord. She can grant us that devotion. Appearance of Jāhnavā-mātā. Jāhnavā-mātā, that's at her Baitak at Radhakund. Today is also the appearance day of Jāhnavā-mātā. She is Nityananda's Shakti, the divine potency of Nityananda. Accepting Suryadas Pandit as her father, she appeared in Kalna. Jāhnavā is Revati in Krishna Lila, and her sister is Vasudha is Varuni. There's an endnote. Yes. Both sisters were married to Nityananda Prabhu, and both are Nityananda Shakti. They are also mentioned in Vaishnav Vandana. Vasudha Janava Vando Dui Thakurani. Let's see what the footnote says. Okay, so this is from Gaur Ganodashtipika 65 and 66. Lord Balaram's two wives, Srimati Varuni Devi and Srimati Revati Devi, appeared during Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Srimati Vasudha Devi and Srimati Jāhnavā Devi, the two dear wives of Lord Nityananda, and the daughters of the great personality Sri Suryadas. Their father Suryadas had previously been Mahārāja Kukudmi. His bodily luster made him as effulgent as the sun. Some say that Srimati Vasudha Devi is the incarnation of Srimati Ananga Manjari, and others say that Srimati Jāhnavā Devi is the incarnation of Srimati Ananga Manjari. In truth, both opinions are correct. They are both incarnations of Srimati Ananga Manjari. Where am I? A guide to all. Jāhnavā-mātā was exceedingly courageous, and her glories are limitless. After the disappearance of Nityananda Prabhu, she became the revered guide to all the Vaishnavas of Gauramandal, Kshetramandal, and Vrajamandal. They would look up to her for direction to resolve all their dilemmas and act as per her instructions. Keturi festival conducted under her auspices. Once, following a dream, Narottam Das Thakur went to an abandoned granary belonging to a Brahmin and asked for permission to access it. Despite being forewarned that nobody dared to venture there as the place was infested with many poisonous serpents, Narottam affirms that he didn't mind. When he went in, he was not harmed by any snake. There he discovered 6 deities who were actually being guarded by those poisonous serpents. The 6 deities discovered were Shri Gaurangadev, Shri Vallabhikanta, Shri Vrajmohan, Shri Radhakanta, Shri Radharaman, and Shri Krishna. When Narottam then turned to Jāhnavā-mātā for guidance, she instructed, "These deities are self-manifest, and hence no formal installation, pran pratishtha, is necessary. Only Maha Abhishek need be performed. Invite Srinivasacharya to perform the Maha Abhishek, while Shamananda, Ramachandra Kaviraj, and you take up the service of performing Kirtan. Invite all the Vaishnavas in and around Gauramandal, Kshetramandal, and Vrajamandal, and befittingly arrange for everything." Although Narottam Das was a prince, he had bequeathed his throne to his cousin, Santosh. So it was King Santosh who made all the arrangements for the grand festival, including prasad seva and befitting accommodation to all the Vaishnavas. Jāhnavā-mātā, who is Annapurna, one who provides nectar-like food and nourishing care to the body and soul. So Jāhnavā-mātā, who is Annapurna herself, took up the responsibility of preparing the entire bhog for the deities. Being Annapurna, just by overseeing everything, there would be no scarcity. Under the auspices of Jāhnavā-mātā, all the great Vaishnavas were seen off in a befitting manner by King Santosh. A manifestation of opulence. Once, when Jāhnavā-mātā was engrossed in rolling luchis, those are white flour puris. So when she was engrossed in rolling luchis for Thakurji's offerings, Virabhadra, the son of Nityananda Prabhu, suddenly arrived in the kitchen. Since it was culturally fitting to always keep the head covered with the loose ends of the sari, especially in front of men, upon finding both her hands engaged in seva, she spontaneously manifested another hand to pull the veil over her head. Witnessing this, Virabhadra, who became awestruck, took shelter of her lotus feet and became her disciple. Oh, I heard another version of this story. Anyways. Pastimes in Vrindavan. The version I heard is that she was taking, I think it was this, she was taking bath, and the gumsha that she had around her upper part of her body began to slip, and then another hand manifested to cover. But maybe, I don't know which ones. Yeah, this is probably the correct one. Pastimes in Vrindavan. Jāhnavā-mātā had a very divine presence. After the ceremony at Keturi, Jāhnavā-mātā left for Vrindavan, and on the way, she delivered many devious people who, although initially addressed her as a Brahman's widow, later, upon witnessing her potency, became her disciples. There is Jāhnavā-mātā Betak in Radhakund. The deity of Srimati Radharani in Gopinath Mandir was offered by Jāhnavā-mātā. And in Kardaha, she manifested the deity of Shri Krishna Rai. She also established a deity of Mahaprabhu and initiated daily worship of these deities. At Radhakund, the place where Jāhnavā-mātā used to bathe, that place eventually came to be known as Jāhnavā-ghat. There is also a small shrine in honor of her sitting place at Radhakund called Jāhnavā-mātā Betak. Those who perform parikrama under the guidance of advanced Vaishnavas can see it there. Today is the appearance day of Jāhnavā-mātā and Sītā-devī. They are not conditioned souls like us. They appear in this world only for the welfare of all. Okay, let's sing this song, Bhavarna Bipore Mora, and then afterwards we can read about Madhu Pandit also. Let me just see if everything's running okay. Have to check every now and then. What is her Mool mantra? I don't know, Prajumna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Sudevi Didi. Alright, so let's sing this. Having fallen into, this is by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Having fallen into this vast ocean of material existence, how will my bewildered soul find the shore? I have no clue how to reach it. I have no strength of accumulated pious activities, knowledge, sacrifices, yogic practice, austerities, or religiosity. Indeed, I have no resources at all. I am extremely weak and don't know how to swim. Who will rescue me from this calamity? The crowd of sense enjoyment is a ferocious sight, and the waves of lust are constantly agitating me. I cannot tolerate the raging winds of the consequences of my activities and prior births with an agitated mind, for I see no sailors to rescue me. O Shri Jāhnavā-devi, by virtue of your own good qualities, show compassion to the servants today and remove my afflictions. I have determined that I will cross over this vast ocean of material existence by taking shelter of the boat of your lotus feet. You are the potency of Nityananda, the authority on Krishna Bhakti. Kindly bestow your lotus feet, which are like a desire tree, upon this servant. You have delivered many sinful persons. Today, this wretched beggar falls at your lotus feet. Okay. One second, I'm just getting my mridanga. Okay. O bhavarnave pore mora akula parana kise kula pavatar na pai santana Nayache karamaba Nahi jnana bala Jaga joga tapodharma Nayache sabha Nitanta durbalayami Na jane santara ye vipare ke amare koribe udhara vishaya kumbhirata hai bhishana darshana kamerata Ranga sada kore ute jana praktana vayuravega sahite napari kandiyaya stirama nadeki kandadi O Gosvāmī Jāhnavā-devi Edase koruna Yo Gosvāmī Jāhnavā-devi Edase koruna Koro yaji ne jagune Guchao jantrana Koro yaji ne jagone Guchao jantrana Tomara charana tari Koriya Ashray Tomara charana tari Koriya Ashray Bhavarnava Parahava Korechi Nishoy Bhavarnava Parahava Korechi Nishoy Tumi Nityananda Shakti Krishna Bhakti Guru Tumi Nityananda Shakti Krishna Bhakti Guru Edase Koro Dan Padakalpataru Edase Koro Dan Padakalpataru Koto koto pamare re Kore chayuthar Koto koto pamare re Kore chayuthara Tomara charane yaje kangala Chara Tomara charane yaje kangala char O Goshi Jāhnavā-devi Edase koruna O Goshi Jāhnavā-devi Edase koruna Koro yaji nij gune kuchao jantrana Koro yaji nij gune kuchao jantrana Jaya Nityananda Shakti Jaya Jāhnavā-devi Nityananda Shakti Jaya Jāhnavā-devi Jaya Nityananda Shakti Jaya Jāhnavā-devi Nityananda Shakti Jaya Jāhnavā-devi. All right, now we can read something about Madhu Pandit. Let me just... it glitched, huh? Yeah, this song is by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He did it, not all the end, not all of his songs have his name at the end. A lot of them do, but not all of them. All right, so here, let's read a little bit about Madhu Pandit. Okay, so I'm reading from this book. Let me stop sharing my screen. Reading from this book, Sri Chaitanya and His Associates by Srila Bhakti Vallabha Gosvāmī Mahārāja. So, let's see how long it is. So, I wonder if I could... I'm going to try an experiment, if you don't mind waiting a second. Just so that you can see what I'm reading. Maybe I can also go on my phone. Let's try this. It might not work, though. Okay, so I'm going to... Here, I'll let you see what I'm doing. One second. Okay, so I'm going to invite a guest, copy this link. Okay, I'm going to send it to myself. How do I send it to myself? I think it should actually just paste on my phone. Since I copied this. Okay, let me try pasting on my phone. paste. Go. Okay, and then I'm going to have to allow. One second. Madhukar, join stream. Okay. All right. There. Let's see if this works. This is an experiment. I'm going to stop screen sharing now. Let's make this there. Okay, now this is kind of fun. Now I'm going to make the front camera the main camera. Video. Back camera. There. All right. Cool. Okay, let's see. I'm going to make this sideways. Let's see if it works. There. All right. Cool. I've never done this before. Okay, let's find Madhu Pandit. Oh no, is Madhu Pandit not in here? Yeah, I can't find Madhu Pandit. Madhavendra Puri, Mahesh Pandit. Okay, well, anyways, at least I know I can do this now. Let's read from Jāhnavā-mātā. Let's read about Jāhnavā, since we have this all set up. Let's read about Jāhnavā-devi from here. 334. 334. Okay. One second, just looking at the comments. Can you hear me right now? Yeah, you can. Let me put my book up here. Just 1 second, I need to get better set up. There. Okay. Shri Varuni Revata Vangsha Sambhave Tasya Priye Deva Sudha Cha Jāhnavī Shri Surya Dasasya Mahatma Sute Kakurmi Rupasya Cha Surya Tejasa Kechit Shri Vasudha Devim Kalavapi Vivrinvate Ananga Manjarim Kechij Jāhnavim Cha Prachakshate Ubhayam Tu Samichinam Purnanyayat Satam Matam. Lord Balaram's wives Varuni and Revati became Vasudha and Jāhnavī, the two wives of Nityananda Prabhu in Chaitanya Lila. Both of them were the daughters of Suryadas, who was as effulgent as the sun. He was Kukurmi, the father of Revati in Krishna Lila. According to another opinion, Jāhnavā was the avatar of Ananga Manjari. Both of these opinions are possible, as we have known that more than one identity can be joined as associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Score Ganadash Dipika, 65 to 66. One second, let me move this mic over a bit more. There. Nityananda Prabhu's Shakti, Srimati Jāhnavā-Devi appeared on the Shukla Navami Tithi of Vaishak. Her father was Surya Das Sarkela. According to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Abhidan, her mother's name was Bhadravati. Surya Das's Shripat is in the village of Shaligram, which is not far from Navadvip, close to the Muragacha station on the Eastern Highway. Sorry, one second. Surya Das was the third son of Kangsari Mishra. His older brothers were Damodar and Jagannath. His younger brothers Gauridas, Krishnadas, Sarkela, and Nrsinga Chaitanya. That's a cool name, Nrsinga Chaitanya. Surya Das Pandit made his home in Shaligram, not far from Navadvip. He held an important post in the service of the king of Gauda, as a result of which he was given the title Sarkela, commander, and earned a large amount of money. Surya Das and his brothers were all very pure in their character, and they had a spotless reputation. His virtues are innumerable. His daughters were Vasudha and Jāhnavā. That's from Bhakti Ratnakar. Surya Das Sarkela and Krishnadas were brothers who both had great faith in Nityananda Prabhu and were filled with love for Krishna. That's from Chaitanya Charitamrita 1:11-25. Surya Das Sarkela was a magnanimous devotee whose brother was Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas took his permission to come and live in Ambika on the banks of the Ganges. It's in Bhakti Ratnakar 330-331. Nityananda Prabhu's wedding. Narahari Chakravarti Thakur has written about Jāhnavā-Devi's holy life at length in his Bhakti Ratnakar. Every manifestation of Vishnu Tattva has three energies, which are known as Shri, Bhu, and Nila, or Lila. Nityananda Prabhu, the Vishnu Tattva, possesses these three energies. In the 12th Taranga of the Bhakti Ratnakar, Lord Nityananda Prabhu's wedding is described as taking place according to human custom. The essence of that description is as follows. Is this working okay? Can you? I think so. Nobody said anything. A certain Kayastha named Krishnadas, the son of Harihoda and Borogachi, a village near Shaligram, made arrangements for the wedding of Nityananda Prabhu. A certain elderly Brahmin from Shaligram saw that Surya Das was worried about finding a suitable husband for his two daughters and made the following suggestion. In the village of Ekachakra and Radhadesh are a Brahmin couple named Harai Pandit and Padmavati Devi. They were Vasudeva and Rohini in their previous roles in Krishna Lila. Lord Balaram has appeared as their son, Nityananda Prabhu. He traveled to all the places of pilgrimage and performed many austerities. He is a great scholar and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dearest associate. He is the eternal husband of your two daughters. In a dream, Surya Das also had a vision of Nityananda Prabhu as Balaram, with Vasudha and Jāhnavā standing to his left and right in their forms as Revati and Varuni. When Surya Das took the Brahman's advice seriously and offered the two girls to Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, Nityananda Prabhu mercifully gave him the same vision directly. Surya Das forgot himself in ecstasy. He saw Vasudha and Jāhnavā as Varuni and Revati, whose forms were more effulgent than mountains of gold and kumkum. Standing to the left and right of Balaram, they were decorated in magnificent jewelry and bedecked in fine, colorful clothes. Nityananda Prabhu revealed this magnificence to his devotee in order to give him joy, and Surya Das completely forgot himself in his ecstasy. That's from Bhakti Ratnakar. The Adibas, the function in the eve, the preliminary function, the Adibas rituals on the eve of the wedding and the wedding itself were conducted in the house of Krishnadas Sarkela in Shaligram. All the Brahmins of Borogachi and Shaligram were present there. The fortunate Surya Das Sarkela gave his two daughters away to Nityananda Prabhu according to the religious rites and popular custom. At Sachimata's request, Nityananda Prabhu stayed for some time in Navadvip after his wedding in Shantipur. He then moved to Saptagram, where he stayed with Udharanadatta Thakur, and then established the residence on the banks of the Ganges in Kardaha. Jāhnavā-devi herself had no sons, but Nityananda Prabhu's other potency, Vasudha-devi, gave birth to Virabhadra, or Virachandra Goswami, the manifestation of Kshiradakshai Vishnu. That's in Gaur Ganadashtipika 67. And she gave birth to Ganga-devi, the manifestation of river Ganges. According to the Gaur Ganadashtipika 69, Ganga-devi's husband, Madhvacharya, is an avatar of King Shantanu. Madhava Acharya, sorry, not Madhvacharya, Madhava Acharya. Jāhnavā-devi's glories. Virabhadra Goswami was inundated with Jāhnavā-māta's potency, becoming her direct initiated disciple. Nityananda Das writes in his Prem Vilas that when Virabhadra saw Jāhnavā-māta in a four-armed form, his mind was changed and he took diksha from her. Without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu's potency, Jāhnavā-devi, no one is able to cross over the ocean of material life, nor can one obtain the service of Nityananda Prabhu and enter into the loving service of his worshipful Gaura Hari and Radha Krishna. Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written in his Kalyana Kalpataru, O Jāhnavā-devi, be merciful today to your servant and deliver me from my pain. Give me a place in the boats of your lotus feet so that I can be sure to cross over the ocean of birth and death. You are Nityananda Prabhu's energy. You are devotion to Krishna and my Guru. Please give this servant the desire tree of your lotus feet. How numerous are the fallen souls that you have saved. So this fallen beggar seeks a place at your feet. That's the kirtan we just sang. The great devotee Krishnadas in his song, which begins Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan, has prayed for Jāhnavā-devi's mercy after glorifying Krishna's name, abode, and associates. Remembering Jāhnavā-devi's lotus feet, the lowly Krishnadas sings the names of the Lord. Shri Jāhnavā-devi, what is it? Shri Jāhnavā-devi, Gauriya Smaran, Dina Krishna Das, Dina Krishna Das, Nam Sankirtan, yeah. Jāhnavā-devi's travels. Shri Jāhnavā Padma Gauriya Smaran, sorry guys. Jāhnavā-devi's travels. Jāhnavā-devi was present when Narottam Das Thakur put on a great deity installation festival at Keturi village on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day. Indeed, the installation of the deities took place under her direction. She personally prepared the first offering to the deities and offered it to them. She then served the prasad to the assembled devotees. Early that morning, Jāhnavā Ishwari rose in great delight, took her bath, and did her mantra meditation. Then she began to cook innumerable vegetable preparations with great enthusiasm. All of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal associates from Bengal were very happy to see Narottam Das. Jāhnavā-devi, the daughter of Surya Pandit and the wife of Nityananda Prabhu, worshipped by the entire universe, expert in the distribution of the pearl of Prem, was delighted to hear his name. Her joy increased when she observed his renunciation and an uncommon love for Krishna. Jāhnavā-devi mercifully came to Keturi, making everyone happy by being there and giving her darshan to all. How can a person as fallen as I describe the compassionate nature of Srimati Jāhnavā-devi? Jāhnavā-devi's travels are described in the 11th Taranga of Bhakti Ratnakar. While traveling from Keturi to Vrindavan, she stopped in a prosperous village where she delivered some atheistic unbelievers and criminals and bestowed Krishna Prem upon them. When she arrived in Vrindavan, she saw the samadhi of Gauridas Pandit, which moved her to tears. When she was in Vrindavan, the leaders of the Vaishnav community, such as Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, Bhugarbha Goswami, Madhu Pandit, they all came to offer her their respectful greetings. She took these Vaishnavas and visited the principal temples of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath, before going to Radhakund. There she met Raghunath Das Gosvāmī, who was engaged in the constant chanting of the holy names, and whose body was emaciated by his austerities. Jāhnavā-devi remained in Radhakund for 3 days, engaged in bhajan. She heard the sound of Krishna's flute while sitting on the banks of the Kund, and had a vision of Sri Krishna that overwhelmed her with waves of divine love. That ghat where Jāhnavā-devi bathed and had this vision is today known as Sri Jāhnavā Ghat. She then took the company of Vaishnavas on a parikrama of Vrajamandal. During this parikrama, she heard Jiva Goswami speak on Brihad Bhagavatamrita. On the return journey to Gauradesh, Jāhnavā-devi visited numerous places. She spent 3 or 4 days in Keturi, sometime in Budhuri, the place of Nityananda Prabhu's birth in Ekra-chakra, Kathā, where Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Jajigram, Sri Khanda, Navadvip, Sridham Mayapur, Ambika, and Saptagram, where she visited Udaran Datta's house. During her travel, she met Yadunandanacharya and Srinivasacharya in Kathā, Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur and Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj in Yajigram, and Sri Raghunandan Thakur in Sri Khanda. Finally, she returned to Karadaha, where she recounted the story of her entire voyage to Vasudha and Virabhadra Prabhu. By Jāhnavā-devi's mercy, Nityananda Prabhu's dear associate Parameshwari Das Thakur was fortunate enough to see Sri Gopinath united with Sri Radharani in Vrindavan. When he returned to Karadaha and told Jāhnavā-devi and Vasudha that what he had seen, Jāhnava was overwhelmed with feelings of prema. She instructed Parameshwari Thakur to go immediately to the village of Antapur and installed deities of Sri Radha Gopinath there. Jāhnavā-devi arranged for Virabhadra Prabhu's marriage to Yadunandanacharya's 2 daughters, Srimati and Narayani, both of whom became disciples of Jāhnavā-devi. All right, Shri Jāhnavā-mātā ki jai. I wonder if there is something about Madhu Pandit in here, but it's just not. Whatever. Vijñāna Prabhu, I think, shared some things. I'm just gonna. All right. Okay. All right, so we will end here. And yeah, all right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Pradyumna Prabhu, I of course, you could always worship Jāhnavā-mātā. You can always say, sing this song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and stuff. I don't know of any, particular archan for Jāhnavā-mātā though, and I haven't heard of anybody doing that. So, yeah, I can't give you any advice there. But always great to say prayers to Jāhnavā-mātā. And do I have an arti for Srimad Bhagavatam? No, I don't. But I know what they do in Orissa. they do arti, because they're really into Srimad Bhagavatam there. They do arti to Srimad Bhagavatam, and whenever they do arti to Srimad Bhagavatam, they sing this Shutta Kamala Kucha Mandala, the Mangala Geetam by Jayadev Gosvāmī. It's common, like in all villages in Orissa, they do it. Yeah. I don't know of anyone from our Gaudiya Sampradaya, but I suggest singing Mangala Geetam. I think that's a really nice thing to do. Okay, Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhara Vika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Mahārāja Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Mahabhagavat Śrīla Goraksharas Prabhuji Mahārāja Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja Ki Jai Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhattadash Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namachay Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Raja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradati Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Shri Ramachandra Shakti Sīta-devi Ki Jai Shri Nityananda Shakti Jāhnavā-devi Ki Jai Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Ki Jai Shri Madhu Pandit Ki Jai Tadiya Shubha Thirubhav Titi Ki Jai Shri Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Mahārāja Ki Jai Nitil Pravishta Mushripad Śrīla Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Mahārāja Ki Jai Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Vrindai Tulsidevai Priyai Keshavashaja Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyaiva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow we'll read some summaries of Srimad Bhagavatam. All right, Hari Bol.